It is a gorgeous day in the middle of the winter, so I want to take an opportunity to do a shop tour. I'm about to do kind of a reorganization of some of the bigger parts of the shop, so I thought now would be a nice time to capture it the way it is. And then after I reorganize it, I can go and look back and see how it's changed over time. So this is the building. This building is about 5 years old. It's about 1,000 square feet. It's 25 feet this way and 40 feet going back. There's two doors on this side. There's that door, which is a door right into my office, and then this door, which is kind of a utility area, which we'll go check out once we get in there. So why don't we start off going in this way to the office and take it from there. You are on a tripod, so I'll be carrying you around and putting you in different places, and I don't want to trip. That would be a nightmare in my shop tour video. But okay, so here we are. Let's let that exposure correct itself. Excuse me. There we go. This is the office, and in here is where I sit at my computer and do my editing and my CAD design. This is a desk pod. I'm working on video for that right now. I don't know if this will come out first or that one, but if that one comes out first, I'll put a link up there. So if there's a link there, that's for that video. If there's not, then it's not. This is my 3D printer. This is an Ender 3 that I got on Amazon for $180. It's run basically flawlessly for a year, and it just crapped out. But it should be a quick fix, and I got a part in the mail. Then I got some drawers down here that I just finished building and will be in that same video. Under there's a bunch of junk. I like to keep broken things. I don't know why, but I do. This is basically where I do kind of electronics work. Got soldering station there, any kind of like small fiddly stuff I would do in this space. It's well lit, and I've got like a camera mount here so I can easily film whatever I'm doing with this, and there's plenty of light in there, so that makes for a really good studio setup. Up here there's an old broken oscilloscope and a toaster oven and an old computer that doesn't work, and record player and that kind of stuff. In this bookcase I also just finished building as part of the reorganization of this room. Again, that'll be in the video, and a lot of talk about how I organize the space. But I don't want to dally in here too much. Let's go into the main workshop space, which is really what it's all about. So this room is the woodshop. It's sort of L-shaped, so it goes off that way. There's a little room in that corner, which is like an exercise room, and then it goes off this way too. There's a big door there. There's a big door here. This door is painted black, so I can use it as a blackboard if I'm like working out some ideas. The main feature in the middle of the space is the table saw. It's right there when you walk in. This is the table saw sled that I just built and made a video about. So far, I love it. I mean, it's really great. I love how light it is. It's my favorite crosscut sled. That's just me. What can I say? So then you've got a big assembly table here. This is 4x8. The reason I know it's 4x8 is because it's got a removable, if I could get my fingers under it, which I can't, removable top, so I can drop in replacement material here for this. This is just like cement board. Is that what it is? I'm not sure what this stuff is called, but it's about 1/4 inch thick, and it's a 4x8 sheet, so when this thing gets too covered in paint and polyurethane and scratches and holes, I can just take it out and put a new one in. I'm not sure I love it because it's brown and it's sort of not great on camera, but I like the functionality of being able to replace it. Beneath the workbench, you've got a couple of drawers, a couple of sets of drawers. These, I think, did I make a video about these drawers? No, but I made a video about some other drawers that are similar to these. They're good. They're modular, so you have as many big and small drawers as you want. This just holds all the, look at that, all the little stuff that accumulates, hardware, consumables, scrap stuff, all kinds of stuff. This void under here was originally for an air compressor, which I kept under there, but because I'm always taking it out to do things like fill up my car tires or the wheelbarrow tires or that kind of thing, it got annoying putting it in there. So it's sort of learned to live in the corner over there, which is fine, I think. But I've got the brad nailer on there so that I can just pull it out whenever I need it, and it reaches right over to the assembly table. So that works pretty well. Let's see. So assembly table has got a vise on this side. This is a tail vise? No, that would be on the tail. This is I don't know, whatever this thing is. It's one of these quick release guys. It's stuck on something? Who knows? This vise is here. I use it fairly often, and because that's there, I keep all the hand planes here. Mostly I just use this one. This is a low angle Lee Nielsen, which, I mean, it's pricey, but man, it's nice. Real nice. Some of the little planes here too that I use from time to time. And then that brings us over to this big wall of tools and stuff. This is kind of the center of things in a way. So here, I'll put this down. So you got the table there and the big wall there. So kind of, if I'm working on something on the table, I can come over and grab a thing, whether that's like a combination square or one of these little sanding blocks that I like, card scraper, mallet. I got straight edges and rulers and framing squares. I got the digital calipers right there. It's kind of all the things that I want within arm's reach are right there, so that when I'm doing things like assembly and stuff on this table, they're right there for me. And then I have all the clamps right there, so that if I'm doing glue ups or assembly, I can get right at those. And when the weather's nice, like it is today, I've got this great view out the back. That is a red maple or Japanese maple, I'm not sure. Maybe it's a Japanese red maple. And it's beautiful. Looks like a big fireball in the summertime. I love it. But it's winter now, so it's not so nice, even though today's a really wonderful day. So table saw is a saw stop. It's the 36-inch version. I've got the mobile base that's good but not great. I don't remember. I've had this thing about 6 years or something, and it's great. It's a wonderful table saw. No complaints and 10 fingers. And then right behind the table saw here is a little workbench with my old drill press, which is just, I've outgrown it, and I've got a new one right there, which is kind of living in the middle because I haven't set it up where it's going yet. But next to the drill press, I've got Forstner bits and spade bits or paddle bits or whatever you call them. Some stuff for the table saw here, dado set, spare blades, feather boards. That's a brake for the dado, and I've got a spare brake up there. Have a spare brake. Do yourself a favor. Just have the spare brake already. You're gonna need it one day. Then some safety gear. These are the Bluetooth, what's it called? Hearing protection guys. for music and stuff. I love them. It's great. I wear them all the time when I'm working. Even if I'm not using loud equipment, it still just makes it easier to hear what I'm listening to if I have those on. And then down here, there's some garbage cans because everybody has garbage. And then this is like a drill holder. I have these Black & Decker drills. Nobody ever talks about these. I really like them. They're kind of lightweight. I mean, mostly just this one. I don't use the impact driver hardly ever, but the drill I've had it for a long time. It's starting to make that motor smell, which does not bode well for the life of the drill. But the batteries last forever. It's like real easy in the hand. It's not super powerful, but how often do I need that much power? When I do, I've got a little bit more muscle in this guy. So yeah, the drills are there. This over here, this is like, it's not a charging station. It's just a charger. But, oh, actually, maybe it is a charging station because, look, I have another charger. So 2 chargers. I think that makes it a charging station. I don't know. I'm going to call it a charging station. Maybe I'll edit out the part where I called it not a charging station. We'll come back to that. Let's see. So the clamps, and above the clamps, there's a few different jigs. This is my, oops, sorry about this. Let me, okay. This is a pocket hole jig that I put on to this long supports on either side. It just makes it much easier to use when you have anything large to cut. This thing. This is the best. It's just power where you need it. And I mounted it up there. I think it's 30 feet, so it reaches pretty much everywhere. Really one of my favorite items in the shop. Next to that, there's some spare dust collection tubing that's hanging from the ceiling. The reason it's hanging from the ceiling is because I don't want mice to take it over. And I feel like if it's on the floor, the mice would find their way in there. So they can't get in there up there. Haha. 1 point for me. This little table was once the home of my belt sander. It's not good at its job right now because the belt sander isn't there. It just collects junk. So I think that's going to have to go. I have a tendency, confession time, I have a tendency to hang on to things like that, even if they're not really useful. I could give you a few more examples, like these shelves over here used to hold power tools. They were custom built for a specific spot in my old workshop, and now they just kind of hold stuff. That's okay. But also all these drawers over here were drawers that I made for other things, and like these was a set of drawers in my old shop, and now they're just up on a block or something. These drawers were actually, the drawers themselves were made for a different spot, and they lined up kind of 1, 2, 3 horizontally, so they're not all the same width because they weren't designed to be on top of one another. And so I had to cut them down and shove them in there because I'm just not willing to get rid of them. Sorry. So while we're over here, this is the other leg of the L. So we walked in through that door to the office, table saw, and then past the table saw, the new drill press, which needs to be set up. This is a miter station. This is a radial arm saw, which I like. It has very good, very specific uses, but because it kind of lives in this weird spot, I don't use it very much. But I would like to fix that. I think I'm going to rebuild the miter station and probably put the radial arm saw on the same like stretch of table, workbench, whatever you want to call that. So that'll be part of my new build. Miter station has a shroud around it to suck dust. I'll talk about dust collection in a minute, but the way I did that is there's kind of like a trough at the bottom there. This is going to be really hard to see. So it can suck take this off. So it sucks down that way. And then if we come back out, this is really nauseating, huh? You can see under there, behind that toolbox, there's the dust collection pipe, which comes back that way and up into the dust collector. So that's a really good way to get dust collection onto a miter saw. But it's pretty involved because it's kind of built into the furniture. And then this is the dust collector, which is a Harbor Freight dust collector that I converted into a 2-stage. So I have the cyclone down here and a garbage can below that. Then so it pulls the chips out before it gets into the impeller. And then by the time it gets to the impeller, it's just the fine dust which gets blown over and filtered in the bag. It's a much better way to do it because the impellers get messed up if all the big chips are going through them. Excuse me. So, moving right along behind this radial arm saw, which also has kind of a dust collection shroud. This thing's really good at kicking dust that way. So you just catch it there, and then there's a hose that goes up into the back that will allow you to create a negative pressure back there and get all the dust out. And then I've got a bunch of hardwood storage here, sort of scrap woods and such. That is an ash tree that came down in the backyard that I used most of it, but there's still a couple of good pieces there for something else. I'm not sure what I'll make out of that. Scraps, garbage, junk, crap, and detritus goes there. And this is sheet goods storage. This was built for a different location, and I moved it here. It works well enough, but it's not ideal. And then some more scraps and such there. This is the new drill press, which I'm going to set up soon. And I mean, it's set up, it's working, it just needs a home. I think I'm waiting to do the big reorganization to find where it's going to go. And this is my bandsaw, which is a Laguna and works very well. Quite happy with it. My dust collector back there feeds down on the floor and splits off to the table saw and to the bandsaw. And this like red and blue guy, and then there's a blue one over here. These are automated dust collection blast gates that I made. They work pretty well. They work all the time, 30% of the time. They work, but they're just a little faulty, and it's enough that I don't want to mess with it. So I think I'll probably get a professional dust collection blast gate automation system in there when I get a chance. Let's see. What am I forgetting? I don't know. I got a periodic table of the elements over here, which has never once come in handy. But I have 2 brooms, which come in handy all the time. This is a dovetailing jig, which I made last year for a dresser that I made. It works really well. It's a good jig. Up here are a bunch of braces and bits that came with the house that just needed a home. I have never used any of them. And this is a wall of table saw jigs. There's a picture framing jig with a miter and spline jig on there. This is kind of an all-purpose sled that I can screw stuff to and use as needed. My old crosscut sled and my even older crosscut sled, which have really been replaced by this guy. Oh yeah, this guy. I love this guy. I think that is about it. So I think this summer will probably be the reorganization of stuff. Maybe spring. Let's say spring. So after that's done, we can look back and do a little compare and contrast. That's the shop. Thanks for watching.